So what is going on, guys? I am Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another Zombies Q&A, the series where I take your questions from the comment section below to do the zombie storyline, Easter eggs, and I answer them. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. But let's get into it. Here we go, and enjoy. So the first question of the day from Paul Watson says, "Hey BOA, I was wondering about Blackout on BO4 and why there are a bunch of zombies maps on the map. Maybe it's just for the game or possibly something else." So I want to answer your question and also go over another as to not only why the zombies maps are in Blackout, but also why our zombies characters are here as well. Now, as for the maps, we don't have any official information on this. There aren't any quotes, Easter eggs, ciphers that tell us anything about it. So the only thing we can do is come up with theories, and my guess is it's down to the fracturing. As we already know in our zombie storyline, we have different universes merging together, we have different timelines colliding. This is all down to the fracturing of our universes. Things from one universe are merging with another when they're not supposed to, and that could be what we are seeing here, the Blackout universe merging with the zombies universe. One fractured timeline joining with another, so that could explain why we see zombies maps in Blackout. I mean, Blackout is really just a mixture of everything anyway. There are campaign levels thrown in here, different multiplayer maps from multiple different CODs. It seems to be everything from the Black Ops universe in one, including zombies. And then that also leads us onto the characters as well, because if you've played the game, not only do we have Richtof and Takeo, Nikolai and Dempsey here, both the Ultimus and Primus versions, but we also have the Victor's crew, Misty, Malton, Stuhlinger and Russman. We also have Ted, the robot. There is Brutus and many other characters, so clearly it's not that serious, but there does seem to be some story behind this. If you listen to the quotes and conversations that our characters have in game, it seems to have something to do with our characters experiencing an Element 115 based delusion, so I'm going to let you listen to the quotes and then I'll come back after.
What brings you here, Richtofen? An Element 115 based delusion, maybe?
Nein, my dear Nikolai. I simply couldn't stand being apart from you for a teensy little second. Before you accuse me, Nikolai, I have nothing to do with our arrival in this place.
Thank Mother Russia for that. Maybe I get extra lucky and somebody shoots you, huh?
Your behavior is curious, Richtofen. I have never seen you out of your element.
Nor shall you. That's the trouble with Element 115. I am it, and it is me. Takeo, sehr gut. I am pleased to see you've joined my delusion. I was getting anxious.
On the contrary, Richtofen, you have joined mine. The spirits apparently wish me to suffer.
So even though you can play with both the Ultimus and Primus crew, most of the interesting quotes that seem to have something to do with the story going on here come from Primus, especially Takeo, Nikolai and Dempsey talking to Richtof, and of course he's the one that's gonna know what's going on. And as he mentions, it seems like our characters are in a 115 based delusion. We've heard these words throughout Zombies. As part of the zombie storyline, our characters experience this. We know 115 has many side effects, one of them being delusions, another one is memory loss, another one is it turns you insane, but delusions are one of its side effects, and that could be what's going on here. All of our characters are experiencing the same delusion. In one quote, Primus Richtofen says to Takeo, "I am pleased to see you have joined my delusion," and Takeo replies, "On the contrary, you have joined mine." On another quote, Richtofen says, "Before you accuse me, Nikolai, I have nothing to do with our arrival in this place." And on another quote, Nikolai says to Richtofen, "What brings you here? An Element 115 based delusion, maybe?" And Richtofen replies in a funny way, "No, Nikolai, I just couldn't stand being away from you for a second." So they seem to mention an awful lot that this has something to do with a 115 based delusion. Whether or not that could also explain the zombies maps in our Blackout universe, are they also delusions? Or, like I said, is that down to the fracturing and universes colliding? Maybe, but that's the best answer I can give you. As for whether or not this is canon in our zombie storyline though, did this actually happen? It's a difficult one, it seems unrealistic, but it's a delusion, so that's the whole point. The next question from Sergio says, hey BOA, where do all of the people in the campaign go when you play zombies? Love your videos. So as we already know, we do have some campaign characters in the zombie storyline. One example is the 5 crew, JFK, Richard Nixon, McNamara and Fidel Castro. All of those characters were a part of the Black Ops campaign and they are also involved in the zombie storyline. Rasnov is another character. He was a massive figure in the campaign and again is also involved in zombies. But we have other characters such as Mason, Woods, Hudson, all of these different characters from the campaign. Where are they during the zombie apocalypse? So the first thing I have to say is the campaign and zombies are two different universes. When we play the Black Ops 1, BO2 or even the BO3 campaign, the universe that they are in is separate to the zombies one. It seems like in the campaigns, a zombie outbreak never happened, and on the other side, in our zombies universe, it could be that some of the events that took place in the campaign don't happen in zombies. But that's not to say that the same characters don't exist. It's very possible, and in fact is more than likely, that all of these people, Mason, Woods, Hudson, Rasnov, Weaver, they do exist in our zombies universe. We just don't really hear about them. So if they exist, then where are they? So starting out with Mason, we have a couple of hints of his existence in the zombies universe. The first one is in Nuketown Zombies. There are 2 mailboxes, one for each house, the yellow and green, and written on these mailboxes you will find the name Mason. This Easter egg can also be found in Nuketown's regular multiplayer maps, but in Zombies the mailbox is knocked over and Mason's name is still here. So if we've got his name in Zombies, then clearly he exists in the Zombies universe. As for why his name would be in Nuketown is a strange one because it's a nuclear testing site. Mason was a CIA operative, so there could be a link there, but as to why they would put his name on a mailbox when he wouldn't have lived here since it was a nuclear testing site is a little bit odd. And then also in the main menu for the original Black Ops, we know it is Alex Mason that is strapped to the interrogation chair. He's being interrogated by Hudson and Weaver, but when you switch to zombies, the whole screen turns red. A zombie starts banging on the window, but it is still Mason strapped in the chair. This one for me doesn't really mean anything, but the whole theming here is for zombies, and that is still Mason strapped to the chair. So those are the 2 small hints that we have for his existence in this universe. Apart from this, we don't hear about him, so where he would be during the zombie apocalypse, we don't know. For all we know, he could have turned into a zombie. Our characters could have killed him somewhere along the line, we wouldn't have noticed. Or he could have gone into hiding. In our zombies timeline, there weren't many survivors. There was some, but out of the billions of people on Earth, I would say maybe a few hundred or a few thousand. So whether or not Mason survived the outbreak is a difficult one to say. However, I would say there's more chance that he didn't. The next character from the campaign is Woods. Again, just like Mason, in Nuketown, on the other mailbox we can see his name. That tells us that he did exist. However, besides from this, there isn't really any other evidence of his existence. He does have a zombie related tattoo on his arm. As you can see right here, we have the numbers 115 which relate to element 115, but besides from this, that's pretty much all we have. If I had to guess, his fate would have been the same as Mason's. Our next campaign character is Hudson. Now, unlike Mason and Woods, we don't have 100% proof for his existence. Going back to the Black Ops 1 menu where we have Mason strapped in the interrogation chair, in the campaign we actually find out that it was Weaver and Hudson who were interrogating Mason. So the person behind the glass here that's talking to Mason and using the voice changer could have been Hudson or Weaver. As far as I'm aware, we don't 100% know which character this is. It could be either one of them. But as soon as you switch to the zombies menu, this character, Hudson or Weaver, walks away, and then a few seconds later, a zombie returns and starts smashing on the glass. Now this either means 2 things. The interrogator got turned into the undead, this is him now as a zombie, or the interrogator walked away and this is a random zombie. So this could be Hudson as a zombie. The other thing we have, which I think is a little bit more far-fetched, but before Black Ops 3 released, as part of a teaser, Treyarch released this image. It is a zombie holding the card with the mark of the beast on it, but a lot of people said when they first saw this that this zombie is Hudson. If you compare the two, they are wearing similar clothing. Hudson usually wears his white shirt with a tie, but it's pretty difficult to tell. His flesh is all ripped off, but that's everything we know for him. So could he still be alive during the zombie outbreak? If it was him who was the interrogator and got turned into the undead, then no, but being who he was, I would say there's still a small chance that he could be alive. And then the 5 crew, JFK, Richard Nixon, Robert McNamara and Fidel Castro, we already know their fate in zombies. They have 2 different endings. They either survived or they died. And then the final character who we just spoke about, which is Weaver. Like I said, if this was him who was the interrogator, then it's a 50-50 chance that he turned into a zombie. Of course, there are other characters in the campaign, however we don't see them mentioned, but if these characters exist, then they probably do as well. We just don't see references towards them. Whether or not they all died, it's hard to say, it's just me guessing. But considering how many survivors there are in our zombie storyline, which is not many, I would say for all of these characters from the campaign, there is more of a chance of them being dead than there are alive. The last one that I forgot to mention was Rasnov. There's been quite a few references towards him. One of the first ones we ever got towards him was in Origins, where the Easter egg steps were the same as Rasnov's plans to escape prison, but we also saw him mentioned in Gorod Korovi. Of course, Gorod taking place in Stalingrad, and Victor being a Russian, you would expect him to be here, and he was. You can see on this wooden plank here, Rasnov has wrote in blood, "Vengeance is mine, V.R. Victor Rasnov." He, at some point in Zombies, was at Stalingrad. Apart from this, we don't see him, so like all of our other characters, there's a chance he died, but it's Rasnov. Does he ever die really? I would say no, so there we go. That is it guys, that is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do. Drop a like rating, make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. Leave your questions in the comment section below, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, goodbye.